okay, even outside of what I do to make money here, I can do this to better my life here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things is people get caught in such a groove and they're like, man, my work is it. This is it. This is all I have. But in reality, it's a fraction of your day. Welcome back to the Dino Bros podcast with the Dino Bros.
That's right. Ready to kick it off?
Yeah, talking about mental health.
Oh, yep. Changing it up today. Getting serious. Dun, dun, dun.
Mental health is crazy. Mental health's crazy.
It's a big topic today. It's a big topic in the world.
Yeah, especially in the trades though. I think anything manly with mental health is kind of like taboo, right?
Oh yeah.
You don't talk about it.
Be a man.
I mean, we see, be a man. Wear it on the chin. Just keep going about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people suffer from different things. I think that's the thing too about the human nature is, especially right now with social media, we see all the positives, but everybody has their own thing going on, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a bad thing about social media. It's all the good things, it's never the bad things. But I mean, it's a crazy topic because for men, it's very shut down. No men really talk about it. I guess it's more of a thing nowadays. You're kind of seeing a lot of people come out and talk about it a little bit more than what it used to be. But it is a topic, and it's in the trades. A lot of our guys don't talk about it, but it's out there. Mm-hmm. But
it's one of those quiet topics, especially when you're in on a job site. Nothing's talked about, in ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all joked about, which is good and bad. But at home, we still have to go home and lay our heads down at night by ourselves.
Yeah, no, man, it's crazy. And you think about it where it's like, you don't know, okay, so social media, there's so much things where everyone talks about back in the day, this wasn't such a big thing or whatever, but there wasn't that much social media, internet going out. So we don't really I guess I don't know if it was such a big thing back in the day or if it's more now than what it used to be. But it's like suicide. There's so much people committing suicide nowadays, but never talked about it. So it's really a touchy subject for a lot of people, because like you say, guys joke about it at work, you're on you're building a house. I'm a jump man, but it's just the guys playing, funny, it's the guy's bullshit, and so you don't know. Hey, I've always asked people, hey, bro, you good? For us, you need to talk about it. Let's talk about it. No, I was just playing. All right, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm here if you need it. So just let me know, because you got to reach out more nowadays. You know what I mean? You got to reach out to your brothers, your sisters in the field, and be there. It's a very different world we're living in, and so I'm very big on hey, you could probably talk about this, but when we used to work, and even now, I've always whenever I hung up the phone, with the guy, so all right, love you, bye, and they're like, huh?
No, it's true. He does, and he gets mad if you don't say it back.
Hey, say it back. But that's
He'll call you back if you don't say it.
I will. You hang up, I'll call you back. Hey, I didn't get to love you back. But it's people, they never understood it. They're like, hey, bro, why do you always say love you back? I don't know. I don't know if someone at home is telling you they love you, or you know what I mean? It's a weird thing, but we grew up like that, where it wasn't as men, you didn't really, hey, I love you, dog. You know what I mean? It was just very quiet. So it's for me, I'm hey, I may not be the game changer for you, but at least David loves you. Yeah. So it was one of those things. I've always done it. But it was funny. I was in California one time, and I sold a repipe or whatever, and the guys called me, hey, we're running into this and that. What should we do? And I was on vacation, but I was by my mom, and I'm anyways, we're talking about it, whatever. And then I go to hang up. All right, bro, love you, bye. And my mom just looked at me. Who the hell did you just say you love you bye to? Was that a dude? I was like, yeah, one of my coworkers. She's like, what the hell? You just tell your guys you love them? Yeah,
No, we should, man. I did this program in California called Warrior by Garrett White, and it was my first time being exposed to like being open with other men, and it was weird to me because there's a whole ego thing behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like I have to be tough, I have to show up a certain way, and if I don't, then I'm going to be judged for whatever it is.
Because isn't it like a little tactical, like,
Oh yeah,
training type
it
of
was
thing?
like a mini SEAL camp, if you will. Like they put, as soon as we got there, they put bags on our head, blasted music, and they drove us out into the middle of the desert. And it was, but
Gangster.
what they made you do from there was, it was like the first time another man had forced me to look into their eyes, and it was like, oh shit, now my soul's exposed,
Yeah.
right? And so it got me used to this idea of men have to be open with each other, especially now with everything going on in the world, how big egos are, especially with social media where everybody's trying to one up each other and how they look.
Yeah.
And we see it on a daily basis in the field where like our whole job site's ego and fun, basically. So you never get that raw side of another man. And until you kind of break that barrier, that's all it is. It's just ego and fun. But until you get that side of them where they're able to be open with you, you never really know what's going on. But this kind of forced it. It forced it in such a weird way. Like it was the most uncomfortable, eye-opening experience I've ever been a part of. But it made me realize that like as a man, just because I'm a man doesn't mean I have to hold in what I'm thinking or feeling. And if I have other like-minded men in my group or my people,
Yeah.
then I know I have people to go to. But
Right.
not everybody has that. And I think that's an unfortunate thing in today's society. And I mean, think about it. And I bet every dude out there can relate to this. You walk into the store, you see another dude, and what's the first thing you do? You size him up.
Yeah, hey, that's a fact.
It's just what happens, right?
Yeah.
But I think the further we go into the future, the more that's going to break down. The more you're going to see men unite in a way that kind of builds things back.
Yeah.
We're in a weird middle ground right now in the country, but I think we'll see that kind of revolutionary turn happen here soon, where people start not confessing, but start opening to how they're feeling, how things are going in their lives. Because that's the thing too, is that as a man, it's a lot of people look at us, like our families look at us, and we're the staple of our house. Right?
Yeah. To your kids, you're their superhero,
Right.
Right. Growing
Right.
up, you're the super dad.
Right. And if you are that person, but in the back of your mind, you're someone else, you're broken, you're weak, whatever it is, then you can no longer be that person to your family. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being vulnerable.
No, I agree. I mean, I think as we go into it, right, like it's different. Like I came up, in a family that didn't really talk about their emotions. You know what I
me
mean?
too, yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, you come from
Law enforcement family,
law
yeah.
enforcement. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So they're rock hard.
Yep.
You know,
You
like
never knew what was going on.
yeah. So it's like, and my family too. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like we didn't really talk about emotions, and still, like, my dad. Like I could say for my dad, I've seen that man cry maybe 4 times. His like dad's funeral, both his kids' wedding, and like I think when he lost another person or something. Like in my whole life, I'm 25. You know what I mean? But he's very like, I've asked my dad before, like, you good? And yeah, like we're good. And that's just how it is. That's that generation though. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm that way. Like I could say that I'm that way where I'm like, hey, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Because men are always like, it is what it is, like that's just how we handle stuff. And like, it's that generation, but also us coming up, like we got to realize the next generation is more vulnerable. The generation coming up after us is very vulnerable. They're very like, hard truth is there's a lot more safe spaces needed, but I mean, it is what it is, right? We got to grow with the times and how things are changing, and be able to navigate that better. Cause like for me, I'd rather one of the homies talk about, hey, like break it down, lose your ego, like tell me what's wrong. I'd rather you tell me what's wrong and like get it off your chest than me carrying you down into the grave. You know what I mean? So like, let's talk about it. So, I mean, it's a big thing in like today's life where we really gotta flip that narrative. And mainly, like, I get it, as men, we got that, like, we want to be that superhero. We're not supposed to break down to like our women and stuff like that. That's how we were born and raised, but like, if you don't want to go that route, at least rely on your brothers. You know what I mean? Your brothers to hold you up and be able to talk about all that. So I think it's a big thing. And navigating it is gonna be fun. Like that goes for me, for you. Like we're like that, where it's like, well, I mean, we talk to each other. You know what I mean? We have a lot of long drives. Up north,
kind of forced to do it
up to Salt Lake. Like we got a lot of time to break stuff down, break life down, and whatnot. But I mean, for the people out there, that don't have that person, they got to find that person, whether it's just someone in your circle or a therapist. You know what I mean? That's a big thing too, is like everyone's so closed off to therapy and stuff like that. And I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Like I could admit that I'm one of them, but the times are changing. It's like like I said, I'd rather you go seek therapy and like someone to talk to than, being done. So
yeah. I mean, kill the ego, kill the problem.
Yeah,
I think that's a big thing. And in the trades too, a lot of people don't realize this, but those dudes are alone when they go out into the field. So they're with themselves all day, like plumbers, electricians.
On the service side of things, for sure.
Side, yeah. Less on the new construction side, but definitely on the service side, they're alone with their demons throughout the day.
Driving. Mm-hmm. It's driving job to job. Some days you got like 6 jobs. Someday you got 2, you know what I mean? So in between, like, I mean, being in Salt Lake right now, it's like, dude, we're driving from American Fork to Centerville, and then we hit traffic, and it's like, we're in traffic for 2 hours, it happened to us twice this week where we just had a standstill
way back,
for 2 hours. Thankfully, we're riding out with each other because like we're building something, but like as a service guy that's dealing with stuff, if you're in that traffic alone for that long, like, that's a lot of time to just be in your head. You know what I mean? So kill the time somehow, call somebody and find something. Cause it is like a lot of people that deal with demons, and it's like, and the hard thing is, it's like, I feel like social media is a big part of that nowadays. You look at like everyone around you, I got kids younger than me that, like, cause I'm still a kid, really. I'm a kid that has kids, but you look at kids that are 20 years old, 22, and they lucked out. They made money. They already built their home. They got, Lamborghinis at 21, or whatever it may be. And you're like, I'm 25 and I'm in a townhome still. So like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? But they're posting their extravagant life, and that's one in a million. There's not everyone doing that every day. So, but you kind of size up your life to theirs. Like, why am I not where they're at? So it's a lot to start taking on, and then you start taking on the point of like, well, I got a family, and then I'm not providing for this family, and the aspect of these kids doing this and that, so it's a lot of, if you let it get to you, it will eat you up.
Well, comparison's the thief of happiness. I believe that. I mean, we're all in our own place, whether it's a 20-year-old that has more than I do, or whether it's a 40-year-old that has more than I do, or less than I do. Comparing that to where I'm at in life takes away from the happiness of the present that I have currently, right? And I think especially in the trades, a lot of dudes get into that mindset of, man, someone's got it better than me.
Yeah.
And breaking that is so important. And we dealt with this a lot at our old shop we worked at, and we started something there to kind of break that. We did our daily huddles, our daily check-ins, if you will.
Yeah.
I started doing night things with the guys to teach them different ways so that they could learn, okay, even outside of what I do to make money here, I can do this to better my life here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things is people get caught in such a groove and they're like, man, my work is it. This is it. This is all I have. But in reality, it's a fraction of your day.
Yeah.
And you have so much more in your day that matters than what you're doing. I think that's where the pressure of being in the trades, especially on the service side, can take a toll on somebody, because now, I mean, it's different. You look in the past, you get a call, you go run that call.
Yeah.
You do the work, and that was it. Now there's the pressures of, I have to hit sales goals. I have to make sure my pricing's right. I have to make sure inventory's right. I have to make sure my receipts are straight. And then it turns into a whole cycle of, man, am I even doing this right?
Yeah. And then you got management, right?
Right.
That's chewing down you when you do mess up. They're calling you at 8 p.m. when you're at home with your family, like, hey, like, why am I spending the time after hours putting in your receipts, putting in the parts that you missed and all this stuff? And they're chewing you down and just beating you up. And that's that old generation too, though. Like, that, hard to admit, but the old generations, that's how they ran, But that's where, like for me, I'm cool with it because I always lived with it. You know, I worked for my grandfather who was a tough ass, and like that's how he was at work. You know, he was the El Cucuy of our jobs. You know, so but he was a tough ass. Like, and every time we'd go, like I said before, it's like, oh man, I'd give him ideas. You know, hey, we could do this and that, blah blah blah, and he's like, he'll just listen to me and look at me like I'm a dumbass and be like, I don't pay you to think.
Pay you to do that.
Yeah, I don't pay you to think. I pay you to work. You know, and okay, like yes sir, I'm back to it. You know, I love the guy. You know, but that's how he was. And hey, I respect it. He's a bricklayer. You know what I mean? Tough dudes. So it was like, hey, like I respected it, and like he worked his tail off for it. So, but when you have guys like that, you know, that aren't adjusting to the new generation coming in and that new culture, like, dude, our turnover rate over there was crazy. We saw people come and go, people miserable because it was just like they were dealing with that generation that was, they didn't need that. They lived with it. Their parents were like that and so forth, that they didn't need that safe space or, you know, comfort. They were just like, dude, we got wrenches thrown at us. Like, what are you crying about? You know? But like I say, so we had people walking away all the time. But that's where it has to change, you know, where it has to change in this industry, where we're willing to hear people out and listen to them, because it is that. We did sales, right? We had KTI. So it was like a sales competition. Mm-hmm. Whoever sold the month got tech of the month and gift cards and this and that. And
that's what I'm saying. You were always at the top. So think about the guys that were always on the bottom.
But you were in management. So it was like, I went to you guys and I'm like, because I was winning every month. And it was like, in the beginning, it was fun. Me and the guys, hey, competition, boom, boom, boom. Like, where you at? Where you at? And like, we were pushing each other to get to the top. But I was always at the top. And like, I always felt bad because I started seeing their light die, you know, where they didn't care no more. It was just like, hey, bro, I'm just trying to get a paycheck. And I was like, I went to management. I'm like, hey, like, even if I win, give it to them. You know what I mean? Like a participation trophy. Like that's the world we live in. You know what I mean? But whatever, it is what it is. Like, I'd rather see my team happy instead of me taking the happiness away from them. Like, it was $100 gift card, you know, whoop-de-doo. And it was a plaque, whoop-de-doo. But these guys, it meant something to. It's like they wanted to be up there. So it's like, even if I win, put my numbers lower, put it on my paycheck though, but you know, like give these guys, like, let them win. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. And so when I went into the sales role, like I went from plumber to like specifically sales.
Well, that's where it was taking such a big toll too, was because it was like month after month after month after month. And we saw so many guys drop.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like, oh, David's going to get it. David's going to get it. David's going to get it. So then their drive was dead, completely dead.
Yeah.
But you're right. As management, it's management's job to step in and see how they can adjust to their team. And that's one of those adjustments that we made, was creating you in the sales position.
And took it away from me to ever win.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But it works.
Sometimes it's for the better of the team.
No, and that's what mattered. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather those guys be driving every day to try to get somewhere and feel good. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to do that for the team. You know what I mean? You want your team to feel great, because they feel great, then their life's going to go great. It was like you said, our daily huddle, right? Like, we started doing that because like we saw the guys coming into the like their day-to-day of jobs and be like, we're just here to make a paycheck, you know, and they didn't really want to be there. So everyone was so against our daily huddles, which our daily huddles included like stretching, jumping jacks, you know, like, and then we would go around
jokes,
and making jokes, the day. Just setting the mood for the day, right? Like, we have 12 hours days or like 16-hour days. So it's like setting the tone for the day. Like, if you come in, you're laughing, you're having a good time in that first hour of your day, like, you just set your day up for success, right? You're gonna go to that first job happy. Hey, like, how can I service you the best possible? Instead of them being upset and being like, yeah, your water heater's leaking. Like, let's get it replaced, you know? And they're just upset. So like, everyone hated it in the beginning. If you remember that, they were like, oh, we got to do this and that. And then our higher ups took that away from us and we're like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. It's a waste of time. Like, you're taking an hour of our time away from the guys being out in the field. How many people came up to us and was like, What are we going to do our daily huddle? Like, what happened to daily huddle? We miss it.
Every day.
Everyone was so for it. They're like, it was such a good change of pace, and like, it started our day off so well, you know? So I'm all for daily huddles. I think it's a good tone set for the day.
And for me, it was more like I had another man look into my eyes and look in my soul. It was for me to look into someone else's eyes and pull them out of whatever they were going through. And that was kind of the cool thing about being in management was it felt like everyone was my responsibility, whether it was their sales, whatever, doing things right, but mostly making sure they were happy there, because I never wanted anyone to leave, because then that meant the overall goal was always met. So well, here's the other thing too about mental health and the struggles that people have. Our job's not that dangerous, right? Plumbing's not that dangerous, but other trades, there's some danger to it. Other trades like electrical, right? You go into a job on electrical and your mind's not there, you kill yourself and everyone around you.
Yeah.
Whether you're trying to or not. Same thing, like roofers, the HVAC guys, even, especially down here, because they spend so much time in roofs and in attics. I mean, how many guys did we see that would get lackadaisical with taking care of themselves that we'd have to bring to the hospital because of
heat exhaustion?
Yeah, heat exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
And it was simple. It was they just stopped caring.
Yeah.
And so then it leads into drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Because if you're not producing for yourself, a lot of these people will turn to substances to help kind of produce that happiness through their day just so they could get through it.
Yeah.
And I think it's it's another taboo topic that goes along with mental health, because you're looked at in such a way with alcoholism or drug use that it's like you're almost that peasant to society. Like, stay away from me, get out of here, right? And it's something I struggled with. Like, I'm 13 years clean now. I wasn't working in the trades at the time, but that was a mental health issue that I went through. And it took the people around me, having solid people around me to kind of bring me back to life.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have a responsibility to pull that out of people the more we move into this.
Yeah, you've been there, done that. So it's like you know what it leads to. You know what I mean?
And it's all bad.
Yeah, you know the downhill battle of it. It's not up, that's for sure. It ain't up. So I mean, that's where, like, to you it touches home, right? It hits hard where you're like, man, dude, like, I know what that looks like. I know what it does to your family, and like, not just you, because like, right at the end of the day for us, it's like, well, screw us. Like, when you get to that point, right? It's like, screw us, like, whatever. But it's like everyone around you that affects. People like fail to realize, like, there are people that love you. You know what I mean? Like, you have your circle that really loves you. And again, in today's society, we don't really push that. Like, the I love yous, the I'm here for you. Like, you need anything, like, because we're all so busy trying to make a paycheck to provide for our own immediate families that we don't have time to do all that. So it's just one of those things where, like I said, we gotta open up to that and be there for those people, because you don't want to get into substance abuse and fall down that path, and then all the people around you are going to suffer from it, because they do care. There's a lot of people that care about everyone. So, but like I said, I'm a plumber, not a therapist, but like an aspect, like, I've seen it a lot with a lot of people out there, where they leave. They end it all and their family is crushed. They're in shambles. You know what I mean? But you just get stuck in that day to day and don't realize what that looks like for everybody else, Well,
yeah. And that's the thing too, is even if you are in that and you haven't gotten there yet, there's a way out. There's always a way out. And I always say that I'm the great example of it, because I never thought there would be a way out. And 13 years later, here I am thriving. Yep.
Making it happen. Start a business, running a couple crews, so it's going good.
Yeah. I think the big thing too, especially in today, like, it goes back to people not being able to be open, but it also goes to when you have there's always someone in your life that says, hey, I'm there for you. I'll be there for you no matter what. But very likely that person's not going to be there. It's kind of like what we always say, I'm the people that people have. Right? Yeah. Like, how many times have we showed up for each other when we didn't want to? Like, 8 p.m. at night, can you help me move this bed? No. Yeah. But I'll be there.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing there is, and this is what I like to express to everybody is, I may not know you, but you could be struggling through something and call me and I'll be there for you. Yeah. Because I had a stranger be there for me in a time that I thought no one else would be there for me in.
Right. That's a big thing. I mean, it's like someone, I was listening to somebody talk about it, but it's like you have to have your circle of people, the one that's going to show up at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? You call them at 3 a.m. like, hey, whatever, I'm locked up. You know what I mean? I need help, or I'm in this position. I need help. That person shows up for you. That's your ride or die. That's the person that will always show up for you, because that that's not just like a light task. And the people that are like, hey, I'm just moving. I'm like, can you come help me move my house and all my belongings? They show up. Like, those are people that will show up. Not because you'll see the people that, oh, bro, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. Da, da, da.
But they're always busy.
Yeah, always busy. Like, they always got something, which is whatever. But there, you find those people that do show up, man, you hold those people close. You take care of them because when you need them, they're there. So
is there any resources that people can go to? Like, especially in the trades. Here's the thing I'll put out there too. If there's any tradespeople, plumbing, it doesn't matter what trade you are. If you're struggling, you call our shop phone.
Oh yeah.
I'll pick up. I'll help you out. I'll give you my personal number.
Yeah, 100%. We talk to people out in Italy and Japan and everything right now. It's crazy how many people have reached out to us just because they see our page and they're like reaching out, asking for questions. But I mean, like I say, I mean, I don't know that there's like a hotline. I probably should look that up. I don't know that there's a hotline. I mean, there's hotlines for everything, right? There's suicide hotlines. Well, and
you have, like the drugs and alcohol side, you have AA, NA.
Yeah.
There's the different A's, but
there's like programs out there, but there's not a specific, that I know of, a specific program for plumbing in itself or like the trades for itself. But like I said, therapy is the best way. Like, go seek it if you need it, because this job does get hard. Like you said, there's a lot of time that you get to just deal with your demons and have a lot of alone time out there. So if you're in that position, for sure, seek therapists, seek the right proper help, depending on what stages you're at in it. You know what I mean? But always reach out. Like, even if it's to us, you know what I mean? Like, if it's reaching out to us and hitting our office line, like, hey man, we'll always be an ear to listen. So yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now to see if there's anything specific for the tradespeople. It doesn't look like it. I mean, there's a million programs out there that you could Google for mental health.
Yeah.
But I think the trades, there's a different aspect to it, right? Like the public views trades in a certain light. And that's why a lot of people don't go into the trades, is because people are like, oh, they're dirty, grimy workers.
Yeah.
But they're family men. They're people in our community. They literally build America. So I think that's the important thing is, you know, we're always here for someone if they need it.
And it's long days. Like, I mean, don't take this topic as like, this is what you're going to get if you become a tradesman, you know, but it is like, it's a lot. Like, if you're dealing with stuff like this, trade can be a lot with anything else. It's like a desk job, bro. I lose it at a desk job. Like, I couldn't make it at like sitting behind a desk all day, like in just an office in a cubicle. You know what I mean? They
say your back will go out first on a desk job before it would go out in a trade job.
That's crazy. But that's like just that. Okay. Say you're just like, I don't know, tech or whatever it may be. It's good money, but it's like you're sitting in a cubicle and you're just no one else around. And like, there's just all that time to yourself. Like that, I couldn't handle that mentally. You know what I mean? But like the trades, like it can, like I said, if you have those demons already, like service, like you get a lot of time alone. But I think we find a lot of good people in the trades though. Like, I've made a lot of good friends here. You know what I mean? And like a lot of like brotherhood.
Genuine people. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, they know what it is. We work long days. We're 24/7. You know what I mean? We are a 24-hour company, holidays, everything. So it's like we're taking those 2 a.m. calls to go, you know, clear out a sewer line or whatever it may be. So we're running at all hours of the day, and you're burning yourself thin, you know? So it's like in trades, you need to remember to take those PTO days, take the days off, you know, and go vacation, because like you get caught up in just the day-to-day of this stuff. Like it gets extensive. You know what I mean? It's just constant battle out there where you're just beating your body. So it's like, I'm big on taking those days off. Hey, if you have them, take them. If you don't, take the non-paid days. Like when you need it, take a mental health day. You know what I mean?
Mental health day,
like,
yeah.
We're very big on our guys. Like something comes up, they're like, and they're very last minute with us. You know what I mean? They're very like, hey, like I need this and that done. You know, I got to go take care of this for my daughter. Cool. Do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? If I got to run later personally, like whatever, do what you got to do. Like, but that's being a team, right? Like teamwork is big, and being there for your brothers and again, sisters in the field. Like you got to show up for one another. And I think we have a good team that does that here at Dino, where it's like, we all show up. They know, cause they can all see our board. So it's like, if I'm working at 7:30 PM digging a hole, I don't call for help. I never do. I'm just like, hey, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm not going to burden my guys, but they'll see my schedule and see that I'm out there. They'll pull up And I'm like, hey, what's up? They're like, why are you digging a hole? Like, and then they're out there digging holes. You know what I mean? But that's the brotherhood you build here, and at least with our team, and I know a lot of other companies out there too have kind of the same aspect going on, but that's another reason I love the trades, because you can build a brotherhood with the right people and have a good team of people that you look forward to going to work with, you know? Like, I look forward to coming in and working with the guys. Like, hey, it's going to be a good day. Like, we're all going to hustle, get some stuff done, and joke and have a good time, you know? So it's big. I think
culture in the workplace is huge.
Yeah.
We do a good job at it.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want to toot our own horn, but we did a good job at it when we were with the big corporation. We adopted that over here. Despite what happened over there, we still pushed for, I mean, we still go to lunch with the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that we used to work with, we'll do a check-in with them.
Go golfing or whatever it may be. Yeah, just check in day to day, hear how their stuff's going over there. You know what I mean? Keep checking in, because sometimes it's that one phone call.
What would you say are some signs and symptoms that people should look out for?
For me, well, like if I'm looking out for somebody, it's the quietness, right? You see a happy dude, like people used to know with me because I'm very, I don't shut up, you know? So it's like people would realize when David was down in the dumps, it was like I was just quiet. I stopped talking. David, you good? You good? But it's like, that's a sign. You got people that, it's just when you see like their day to day of that person, they're happy, they're outgoing, or they're whatever, you know, like whatever that personality is, like if they're that every day and then you start seeing them slip away from that slowly by slowly, and you're seeing that change, but they're every time you ask them, you good? They're, yeah, bro, good. Like push or get the right people to reach out to them. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are afraid, like, oh, I don't want to reach out to their parents or their siblings or their spouse because I'm afraid of like what it's going to cost for them. Hey man, whoop-de-doo. Like reach out to those people. If you can't get through to them and you think something's going on, reach out to their people closest to them, you know? But it's seen their character traits shift, you know, and it's becoming a more normal thing for them. I mean, for me, that's an eye opener.
Seeing their habits change.
Yeah.
I mean, we experienced it with one guy specifically at the old place, and we won't say his name, but he ended up going to jail. And this is where it started to change for me when we were there, was because the signs were all obvious, but management took no steps to kind of redirect it or correct it. It was, oh, he's still selling, right? He's still doing good.
I remember.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden one day it flipped. Yeah. Everything flipped. His whole life changed in a matter of 24 hours. The dude would always show up. He would always put on a good smile, but the signs were there that he wasn't doing so well. We could all see it, but we didn't know where our responsibility lied within it. But we did expect management to do something about it, and that unfortunately never happened.
And he was a very like tough dude, just always like, you know, he was kind of a hood guy. So he was kind of,
for sure.
He was kind of just like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean?
But imagine if someone stepped in, like actually stepped in. And I know people tried in some senses.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple guys there that kind of went through that, and they ended up going down dark paths. But I feel like more could have been done by the team to prevent that from getting any further than it did.
Yeah. But also not holding yourself too accountable for it, right? You know what I mean? Like, because that also drives people, I think, to depression or whatever it may be, where it's like,
you can't have the savior complex.
Yeah. It's like you could reach out and try to do things, but at the end of the day, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's their decision and what they do, but like you did what you need to do to reach out to them. You know what I mean? But it's like you always like, oh man, what can I have done more for this guy and this and that? Which cool, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's a learning lesson and you learn how to reach out to more people. But again, like we're in the trades, like our job is to be a tradesman. But at the same time, don't hold that on your shoulders, right? That weight of that, like, oh, like I could have saved him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because that could put you down a different path too. You know what I mean? That could put you down a dark path. Like if it's someone that you cared about deeply and you're like, what can I have done different? Nothing. I mean, like some things, but obviously like you can't hold that weight for their decisions is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying, if someone goes happy to sad, what I would say is if someone's always happy, then there's probably something wrong too. And they just need to be checked in with. A lot of times when people just are constantly happy, everyone just assumes everything's okay.
Like Robin Williams.
Yeah. Everyone just is like, no, he's good. He's always making jokes. He has to be good.
Well, it was like, you read that, right? I follow a lot of music. I love music. So it's like, you see like, dude from lead singer of Linkin Park. You see Robin Williams. You know,
Kurt
you see
Cobain,
you see all these dudes that are like happy and they're like making people laugh, putting out good music, putting out good movies, and it's like even the people close to them, because there was the big articles out on it, right? There were big things, everyone's talking about it, and it's like, man, this guy made people laugh for a living, and he was never sad. He was always just happy, and then just that was that. You know what I mean? So it's like even check in on even the happiest of people, because you don't know what they're dealing with. But I mean, at the end of the day, they might not share, you know, and that's just what it is. But that's what we're getting at here today. It's like opening up and being vulnerable. I think it's a big thing in today's world. Because like I say, you don't want to see people just end life and be done over something that maybe could have been fixed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and absolutely, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable, especially as a man in the trades.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. There's resources out there, whether it's, literally, whether it's calling our phone or whether it's just calling a basic helpline. Those people will help you, and we would suggest that. And then if you have abuse struggles with alcohol or drugs, reach out to AA, NA. They're not for everybody, but it gets you started.
Yeah.
It's that first step to, okay, let's redirect this path. Let's redirect this course.
Yeah. And don't think any less of yourself because of it. You know what I mean? It's like some people are afraid to go do these things because they're afraid of what
judgment, the thoughts, what people are going to say,
how people are going to feel about them and stuff. And it's like, dude, like if you need it, go take care of it. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of the truth though, is even though you have this feeling of, man, the world's going to judge me. My neighbor's going to judge me. My friends are going to judge me. As much as they care, they don't. Everybody has their own problems.
Yeah.
So they may think something of it. And if they do, they're probably not the right person to keep in your life. But just reach out.